What comes to your mind when you hear this word, unsafe? When I hear this word, unsafe, there are many incidents echoes in my mind. In fact, today, sitting in front of you, when I know that I'm going to talk about few very personal incident of my life, I'm feeling unsafe. The fact is, I know that I may get judged. But as I always been taking risk, today I'm taking risk and going to talk about it. So let me tell you one event which left significant effect on my life and what I'm doing today. I was in class 10th. It was a winter morning. I was having chai with my grandfather and my uncle. My mom walked 12 kilometers from my house to my uncle's house while covering her broken nose, and her hand and sari was soaked with blood. I was taken aback. I couldn't digest that what is happening. Then my mom told that during a argument, my uncle pushed her hard and she hit a door and broke her nose. And to tell you that this was not the first time it happened. I heard about it as I stood with my maternal house. I never seen this incident as first-hand witness. But my dad, who was present with my mother physically, never raised a brow, never raised his voice against it. But this feasibility, this patience was not with me anymore. I told my mother, Mom, let's go to the police station and file a case. My mom was a little hesitant initially, as the police station is a big deal for a rural person, and especially when you belongs to a poor family. But I was a little adamant. I took her to the police station and tried to file a case. But the moment we told or explained the scenario to the police people, they asked us to compromise it within the family as it's a family issue. But I stood my ground, and as a result, my uncle was asked to give an undertaking that he would never hit my mother again. But the story didn't end here. The time I got back to my home, nobody was talking to me, as for them, I took a silly family matter to a big deal to a police station. Until then, nobody approached police station from my house. But what came to me as a shock is my father never raised a voice or choose to be silent with all this incident. And for a 14-year boy who knew nothing back then than his village, it was an eye-opening incident. That how in Indian family we never take stand for all these issues. We never take it seriously. Let me tell you another incident which has again very significant effect. I was in my graduation first year. I got a call that my mom is suffering from severe pain and lying her on her bed. I reached home and realized that we need to take her to hospital. Till then, neither my father nor my any family member took her to the hospital. And we took her to the hospital, and then doctor told that she has to go through some surgery. And he explained that it is due to the ignorance or the times he has been ignoring this pain from last 10 years, and due to the period pain and heavy bleeding, she has going through some traumatic issues. And that year my mom went through 3 major gynec operation. It was terrible. Let me tell you, here is the thing. There was a man who has all agencies, privilege, and power, and choose to hit my mother, abused my mother. There was a man who has who had all the agencies, power, and privilege, choose to remain silent, not even spoke about it. There was a man who then was a boy, chose to stand against it, fight for it, took her mom to the police station, to hospital, and that's what matters. Like what you do with your agencies, what you do with your power and privilege. I realized this gender stereotype or biases and discrimination so internalized from the childhood that we take it so normal. It became so normalized in our society that we never spoke about it. My dad, who was taught from the childhood that he should not hurt their parent, not even in thought. And that passes to me or my brother, that how we should not question our elder, talk against it, or give a answer back. Let me tell you that I'm a village person, and that impacts how I see the world. I'm a misfit man who doesn't understand the city jargon, doesn't understand how the sectoral design works, the programs works. But what I understood, that how I can do something or stand against it and raise my voice against it and create some impact. And it was not easy. From then, from a lesser known village, from Odisha, where a mere 5 feet tall person need to bend in to go inside a house, where we sleep with our cattle. We don't have proper electricity, no proper education, no proper water facility, but what we all have is poverty. And above all, the enrooted, the ingrained gender biases and gender inequalities. But when I moved to city, moved to Hyderabad, and I had assumption that the city will be beautiful in terms of this equality. There won't be harassment, there won't be any domestic abuse. That bubble broke when I got exposed to a slum in Hyderabad called Balariti Nagar. It's just behind a place called Film Nagar Society. You can see all the beautiful cars and buildings and everything. And just behind to that, you will find a huge slum. And one fine day, I saw that one woman was giving food to her kid and was seated on top of a pile of garbage. I couldn't erase that sight from my mind. Then intervened, I spoke to different people, I interacted. Then I realized and observed the misogyny, the patriarchy, the abuse, what women go through in their life. There's no much difference between the rural part I belongs to and the glittering city life. And then I decided that I'm going to quit my dream job and standing. It's just not waiting for that someone will come or the government will make some policies, programs, and that will change. I put my hand together, quit my dream job in movie production, and started an organization called Good Universe in 2015. The whole idea at Good Universe was to create a secure space or a safe space where women, transgender people, and children can live a dignified and secure life. That they can voice out or they can exercise their right on their body, on their rules and laws. And it was not easy when I started working. I was a student back then, and I was having a couple of friends who joined from few people were from like social work background, few people were doing research back then. When we started this journey, we thought of working from hygiene and health in Islam. And we'll choose this Balariti Nagar as I have my incident or my encounter to the incident to start this work. And when we started working, as I'm a young guy back then, to try to create some change, and the key word is change here. I wanted to change. I thought one program, two program will change the whole life in this slum. But it was not. The first program we did in the slum, we roamed each house and invited them to the program to be a part of our program and learn about health and hygiene. But to our surprise, only 5 people, 5 women participated in this program. And once the program got over, we thought we'll have interaction and we'll roam around the slum. And in the slum came to us and told us, what you're doing here? Are you trying to influence our women? If you're doing so, then you are not allowed to our slum. We'll kick you out. It was very tough for us when you are just 18 and 19-year-old and trying to create some change, impact, and help women, or be there to create education or awareness around it. When somebody comes like this and threaten you, it was not easy. But we didn't stop. We were a bit adamant. I was adamant back then when I was standing with my mom, and here also. I knew that we will be here for a long time. But we realized that why only 5 people participated in the program. Because in slum, these people are harassed, discriminated by politicians, leaders, and they lost the trust on people. So in a slum, we are outsider. We are not someone who belongs to the slum. So we started interacting with them, sharing the stories, sharing meals with them, sharing chai. Then in no time, we're one of them in the slum. So I remember when I moved our work from the slum to a college or institution, they literally kicked us out from the college, saying you cannot talk about sexual reproductive health in the co-ed education. You can't teach them when the both boys and women are together. And you remember when we started working with the transgender health, we approached more than 13 doctors. We spoke to them that we need your services to help this community. We didn't find any doctor who was ready at one go that they will work with us and help this community or the transgender people. It was tough. Then we roamed around and finally we found a doctor who was ready to work with us. To the surprise that how this community belongs to various people and how they subjugate the other gender or certain gender, initially it was tough to understand. But we kept our work going in spite of all the problem and trouble we had in the slum. Then from last 5 years, from 5 women to 50 women to 500 women, and now we worked with more than 40,000 women directly. And indirectly, we worked with more than 10 lakhs women. With all this national and international credit and awards and recognition, what I kept close to my heart is when I see women and men both are talking about period openly, women taking about their rights, their decision to lead their life. When I see men are taking part in healthy conversation and unlearning and breaking the stereotype that govern their minds and societies. So we came a long way with our program and the intervention. As our team was small, we, when I was working in a slum and done with a program and workshop, and one lady approached us and told us, brother, how can I take this program to different slums, different communities? Or how can I talk to my mother or my sister who don't know about any hygienic practices and they change cloth pad or exchange the pads during the period? Then that struck to my mind that our team is small, we are students. Why can't we enable these women to take this information to places, to their communities, to their friends? Do we trained her and she worked with us as a facilitator. And that part became a key point in our program. At every community work, we create community leader, or as we call them, as a catalyst. As you understand, it's very important that when you enter to a slum, that how do you start the work and how do you exit, as you can't be there for the lifelong. It was a very important point for us to keep creating the community leader. And when I see these community leaders and creating change, taking the information to different places, creating the gender parities in the community, we feel like that is a true achievement. As a person who has suffered or who has seen life suffering in the name of gender stereotype, I'll tell you, you should be more empathetic towards them. You need to be, rather than closing the door at them, you need to accept them. Choose action over ignorance or silence. We are told not to question to our elders or our parents because some gender biases. Though you see them ill-treat our mother, our sister, or some other gender or different gender, we keep silent. And we need to unlearn that very behavior, and ask questions. Make them accountable for their action. And if you do that, everybody should create or imagine or envision a gender equal society. If you can take a leap of faith on humanity and risk every stereotype that build up and comfort us or our identities, then not only you can envision a world which is gender equal, but you can create a better universe or a good universe and a gender equal world. Thank you.